City, law enforcement's attitudes towards marijuana are a far cry from what we saw in Seattle, where the policy is no arrests despite the law. Here, in the nation's most populous city, more people are being arrested for marijuana than at any other time or place in history. This is how critics say New York City police arrested tens of thousands of people for minor marijuana possession last year. It's called stop and frisk. Police stop a, quote, suspicious person, and they go through his pockets, even though he's not accused of a crime. According to the NYPD's own records, they made 600,000 stops just last year. That's more people stopped on the streets of New York than live in the city of Seattle. And about 90% of them are Black and Hispanic.
Greetings, YouTube. It's NYC Resistance. I'm making this video as a wake-up call to show you what's happening in what's supposed to be the freest country in the world.
You are listening to the voice of a man who calls himself NYC Resistance. The young man spends his days and nights patrolling New York City, filming what he believes are unjust frisks and arrests made by police throughout the boroughs.
So he asked you to step outside the car, then what happened?
He searched me, I smoked weed.
I'm walking home, I ain't do nothing. They just stopped, they just probably see me.
If I had a suit and tie on, you would never fuck with me. But because I wear a hoodie and I dress hip hop, I'm a target.
When you dressing like with the biggie, and the jeans, saggy jeans with the do-rag and the hat ski, you already know how they gonna feel.
All right, so we just pulled in front of Yankee Stadium where we're meeting NYC Resistance. He's very paranoid about anybody knowing who he is, so he has agreed to meet with us right here. We're waiting to see if he makes an appearance.
About 20 minutes after we arrived, he showed up and agreed to talk to me while we drove around the Bronx. What made you start doing this?
After years of constantly being stopped by the police for no reason, I decided to take matters into my own hands.
NYC Resistance told us he'd been stopped and frisked so many times over the years, he'd lost count. As a young Black man living in the Bronx, he says it can be a daily occurrence, which is why he decided to pick up his camera and start fighting back.
My name is NYC Resistance, right?
Okay.
And I record when the police do stop and searches.
They harass us on a regular basis. It's nothing new, you know what I'm saying? It's always like this.
NYC Resistance agreed to show us how he works, but only if we hide his face and never reveal his true name. He says he fears retaliation from the NYPD. How'd you pick your name, NYC Resistance?
I'm resisting the box that NYPD is trying to put me in. Basically saying that, hey, you're young, you're Black, you don't have the right to walk the streets without being subjected to a search or harassment.
Critics say the marijuana arrests are a byproduct of the stops NYC Resistance films. Hundreds of thousands of people stopped each year, and the police inevitably find a percentage of them carrying weed.
You mentioned the psychological impact. Can you tell me a little more about that?
The psychological impact is knowing that you haven't broken any laws, but being made to feel like you've broken a law, to feel like you're a criminal, to be looked upon as a criminal.
New York police guidelines for stopping someone include something called furtive movements, which NYC Resistance told us translates to walking while Black.
And making up all these excuses like furtive movement or your clothing, as though we shop at some sort of criminal clothing store where we buy specialized clothes that only criminals wear. It's a lie, it's a sham, and it's a way to destroy people's lives before their lives actually start.
So what do you hope to accomplish by videotaping all this and posting it on YouTube?
I just really want to get the word out and something to really hold the police accountable. Traumatizing people is not deterring crime or stopping crime.
The New York City police refused to talk to us, but Brooklyn prosecutor Ann Swern agreed to an interview.
While they have a vigorous stop and frisk policy, New York is the largest safe city in the world, and the theory is that stopping people in the street prevents them from bringing a gun in the street.
90% of those that are stopped and frisked have committed a crime.
Right, but you don't know who's left the gun at home.
Police don't seize many guns, about one for every 700 stops. But they have seized lots of marijuana. Since Mayor Bloomberg first took office in 2002, police have arrested more people for marijuana than during the 3 previous administrations combined.
Over the last decade, we've seen an explosion of marijuana arrests in the city of New York. Over 50,000 arrests for possession of small quantities of marijuana taking place each and every year in New York City.
I met Hakeem Jeffries, a local politician in the Brooklyn neighborhood he represents.
Have you ever seen it? Stop and frisk?
Absolutely, and it pains me to see young men, largely of color, hands up against the wall, police rifling through their pockets in a situation that is a far too common sight.
So would you say that the policy is discriminatory?
90% of the individuals arrested and run through the system for possession of small quantities of marijuana are Black and Latino.
Perhaps the most troubling aspect of all these arrests is the fact that New York State actually decriminalized marijuana in the 70s. Possession of a small amount is only supposed to get you a ticket. But if the marijuana is in public view, it becomes an arrestable offense.
They're stopped by the police. They're asked to empty their pockets, even if there's no justification legally for them to do so. But when an officer tells you, empty your pockets, show us everything you have, they take something out. This is the marijuana. Now it's in public display. The handcuffs go on. These young men are run through the system.
And the handcuffs go on a lot. About 400,000 times for marijuana possession in the last 9 years.
Even if they aren't ultimately prosecuted, what we find is that their life has been altered and that their record has been scarred.
An arrest can cost you your job, jeopardize student loans, get you evicted from your apartment, affect immigration status, and if you've already got a record, actually send you to jail. It costs the taxpayers of New York a fortune. Hakeem Jeffries is sponsoring legislation that would stop the marijuana arrests.
$75 million per year spent on prosecuting and arresting individuals for possession of small quantities of marijuana. It's a dramatic waste of judicial and law enforcement resources.
Would you say that the stop and frisk policy is effective?
9 out of 10 of the people who are stopped, questioned, frisked, in some cases brutalized and or dehumanized by the NYPD's own statistics have done nothing wrong. No gun, no drugs, no contraband, no weapon, nothing at all.
Alfredo Carrasquillo has been stopped, frisked, and sent to jail for marijuana. Now he's a member of a community group trying to stop and frisk.
And when did you first start seeing that in this neighborhood?
All my life. There's been times where I'm going to school and I got pulled over and was thrown on the wall and was frisked for no reason at all.
Now, so from your point of view, why is this happening?
Honestly, I believe the prison system is just another form of slavery, pretty much. Because what it does is it labels Black, young and Latino men as criminals, and it creates them from preventing to gain successful employment from
This interview was getting a little tricky. So I decided to ask.
How many of you guys here have been stop and frisk, gone through that with the cops?
Yes, I did.
Raise your hand.
They always messing with me. I'm positive.
It's just a bit of a discrimination.
I have my hand in my pocket like this. They picked me up one time right here in the corner. They tried to lock me up. I thought I had illegal marijuana.
It seemed like almost everyone in this neighborhood, all of them minorities, had experienced a stop and frisk. It was easy to see how the police might be racking up 50,000 marijuana arrests every year.
Marijuana was decriminalized in 1977. How am I wrong for walking around with a $5 nickel bag in my pocket? Like,
Why are you?
because I'm a man of color. That's what I feel.